Imagine a world plunged into twilight, temperatures plummeting, and crops failing across vast continents. This wasn't some apocalyptic fantasy, it was the reality of 535 AD, a year often called the worst year to be alive. In the late summer of 535, something strange happened. Chronicles from around the world, China, Europe, the Middle East, all tell of a dimming sun, blood-red skies, and an eerily persistent twilight. Temperatures dropped, summers became cold, and crops withered and died. They described the sun as pale and weak, unable to cast a proper shadow even at midday. Some even spoke of colored rain and dust that choked the air. The year 535 AD saw the first eruption of the volcano Krakatoa, also known as the loudest sound in recorded history. The eruption was so powerful that it sent a plume of ash and debris into the atmosphere, blocking out the sun for months. And that was just the beginning. The consequences were catastrophic. Volcanic winter led to widespread crop failures and famine. The cold, dark winters that followed the volcanic eruption caused widespread suffering and even more death. As if famine weren't enough, 535 AD also laid the groundwork for another disaster, the Plague of Justinian. Weakened immune systems and mass displacement provided fertile ground for the bubonic plague, which would later sweep across the Eastern Roman Empire, the beginning of the Plague of Justinian. A pandemic that would kill millions of people over the course of the next few decades. The plague, which was probably caused by the Yersinia pestis bacterium, spread rapidly through the Roman Empire and beyond, causing widespread death and suffering. Krakatoa and the subsequent plague weren't the only disasters that struck in 535 AD. The events of 535 AD helped to accelerate the decline of the Roman Empire. Even before the plague, the Roman Empire had been in turmoil for centuries. Internal power struggles, corruption, and ineffective leadership had weakened the central government. Civil wars were frequent, further draining resources and manpower. This made the empire even more vulnerable to external threats. The labor shortage caused by the pandemic severely disrupted agriculture and trade, leading to widespread famine and economic hardship. The weakened military struggled to defend borders against external threats. Throughout this period, the borders of the Western Roman Empire were under constant pressure from barbarian tribes like the Goths, Huns, and Vandals. The plague and internal conflicts weakened the empire's defenses, making it easier for these groups to raid and occupy Roman territory. The outbreak of the plague and the resulting famine contributed to the empire's collapse, which would ultimately lead to centuries of warfare and chaos in Europe. It was a year of unimaginable horror and suffering. The eruption of Krakatoa, the Plague of Justinian, and the volcanic winter caused death and despair on a scale never seen before. While 535 AD was undoubtedly a year of immense suffering, it also left behind a legacy of human resilience. The experience forced societies to adapt, find new food sources, and strengthen social bonds. It serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of our environment and the interconnectedness of global events. Though centuries have passed, the year 535 AD remains a chilling testament to the forces that can shape our world. It reminds us that we are not masters of our planet, but part of a delicate ecosystem. As we face new challenges in the 21st century, learning from this worst year can inspire us to build a more sustainable and resilient future. Let the darkness of 535 AD illuminate our path, reminding us of the fragility of our world and the responsibility shared to protect it. Together, we can ensure that no future generation has to endure a year like 535 AD.